Can you describe to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what a casing is, or a spent casing?
Once a live round is used in a firearm, the casing is what was encasing that round. So in a regular firearm it is what would be ejected out of it, out the side. In a case of a revolver, it's what's left in the cylinder. So the projectile has come out of the firearm, and the casing is what's left behind.
Did you collect any spent casings from this scene?
Yes.
How many did you collect from the initial scene?
1.
I'm going to show you what has been, I believe, previously admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 10. Is that a photograph that you took?
Yes.
Let me make it, there we go. And can you tell us what we're looking at?
Yes, this is a close-up image of the top of the cart. There was a spent casing on top of the cart, which is what we see up top here, where it has no projectile head on the end. And then there was another round next to it.
Let me move this. As you sit here today, do you recall whether that round was the one that we're looking at that appears intact? Was that a dummy round or a live round?
That was a dummy round.
Okay. So, in addition to collecting this ammunition, did you also collect other items of evidence?
Yes.
Did you collect any gun belts?
Yes.
And let me also ask you, and let me show you, if I have it here, I'm going to show you what's been previously admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit 12. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what are we looking at there?
These were 2 boxes of ammunition that were inside of Lieutenant Benavidez's unit.
So let's talk about exactly what we see in the photograph. Do you see the white box that says 45 long Colt dummies with a very small JS in the middle?
Yes.
Did you open that box?
Yes.
And what was inside that box?
There were rounds inside of the box in a foam insert. Some of them were marked as 45 LC. Some of them were 4440 rounds.
And what's the difference between 45 LC and 4440?
They are different caliber rounds.
And were there any rounds inside that box that you suspected to be live rounds?
Yes.
How many?
1.
Let me ask you this. How many rounds altogether did you discover that you thought were suspected live rounds on the set of Rust?
5 and the spent casing, so 6 in total.
And I want to talk a little bit about where those rounds were located. So we've got 1 that you suspected came out of this box. Is that right?
Yes.
And just so that we're clear, the box on the right in the photograph, what was inside that box?
There were blank rounds inside that box.
And were they all legitimately blank rounds?
Yes.
And give me just one moment to pull up some additional exhibits here. I think you testified that you collected some items of evidence from inside the church. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Did you collect any gun belts from inside the church?
Yes.
How many, if you recall?
There was a gun holster, just one inside the church.
And did you take that back? Well, the holster, was there anything unique about it? Was it just a piece of leather, or did it have additional parts to it?
It appeared to be a shoulder holster, so the one that would not go around your waist, but one that would go over your shoulder, and it had a fake knife attachment to it.
And were there the piece of leather? Did the holster hold anything?
Yes, it was able to hold ammunition.
And when you collected that holster, did it have ammunition sitting inside of it?
Yes.
And the ammunition that was inside of that holster, did you closely examine it?
Yes.
And did any of that was in the holster cause you to suspect that there were any live rounds in the holster?
Yes.
How many rounds that were in that holster did you suspect were live?
One.
And you sent that to the FBI?
Yes.
And based on your work on this case, do you know who was the actor who was assigned to that holster?
Alec Baldwin.
Can we go ahead and, I don't know exactly. Yeah, let's publish it. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have any objection to the exhibits that I showed you previously?
I certainly don't have to this picture.
Okay. So I'm going to move for the admission of State's Exhibit 22 and ask for permission to publish.
All right. Hearing no objection, States 22 will be admitted. You may publish.
Did you take this photograph?
Yes.
And what are we looking at here?
This is the interior of the church, and it is a close-up of some of the benches or pews that were inside of the church.
And what is, do you see something leather there?
Yes, on the second row of benches, there's a jacket and a holster.
Is that the holster that we've been talking about?
Yes.
Is that where it was when you collected it?
Yes.
And I would like to show you what has been previously marked as, give me just one moment. I think it's 12 and 13. Mr. Spiro, do you need to go through these with me?
If you just show me the picture quickly, I'm sure I have no objection.
Okay, so I'm going to have to unplug. Or do you,
Oh, no, I can pull another set.
okay.
I'll look at this one quickly.
Well, but it's going to come up on the screen, so I don't want to publish it.
I'll look at it and then I'm sure it's...
No, but as soon as I move it, it's going to come up on all the screens. Okay. Here, let's do it that way.
I have no objection to exhibits 12 and 13. Thank you.
And how about let's do 15 and 16?
No objections to 15 and 16.
17?
No objection.
18?
No objection. I'm happy to stipulate that whatever Investigator Popple recovered at the scene.
Well, we need a little more identity, but it's 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18?
Hang on, there's a little bit more than that. It's 19, 20, 21, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We have 31, 32, 33.
Okay, so what's missing is so you're not doing 22, 23, 24, 25, right?
22's on the screen.
All right, what about 23, 24, 25? I didn't hear you name those.
There's no issue. The only one...
I just want to get the numbers. This becomes a problem later.
23 is already in evidence. What were the other ones you had?
24, 25.
I don't think I'm, all right, I'll go ahead and do 24 and 25.
Wait,
No objection?
okay, so 22 is in evidence. I don't have 23. You don't either, do you?
What do you mean?
Well, we've been keeping track and we don't
Right,
have.
so I think that, I think this is what we're moving into evidence, show me 23.
Okay, just, I don't need to be, yeah. 22 's-
23 is already in evidence. Or maybe it's, here, what number is this? Because I'm looking at the same picture that's up here.
That's, I think she's the church benches? Oh, that's not it.
22 is the church bench.
Mhm. What's
Okay.
up on the screen?
7 and 8, so that's wrong. That is 22. You can see in the lower left there.
This one on the screen?
We can't see on the lower left. Oh, exhibit 22. Okay, 22. Yes, it is. All right, so
Stand here with me so I can look at
let me just clarify. All right, 13 has already been admitted. 12 has already been admitted. 26 has already been admitted. You're tracking me as well, right?
Me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we don't have,
14.
14 has been admitted, so 15 through 21, 22 was just admitted. We don't have 23.
That's fine. I'm not moving for the admission of 23. I think it's a duplicate.
Okay, let me just, all right, we don't have 25. We do have 26.
Right.
So did
Okay.
you want, so you said, what about
we-
25?
Yes, I will be moving for the admission of 25.
Okay, and then 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
Correct.
Okay, so on the record, the court is going to admit 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
Your Honor, there's objections, as I think the court might remember, to 31, 32, 33, they're not relevant.
All right,
I can
well,
come up and show you.
let's not confuse me at the late
Sure.
day, so I'm just going to write down what's been admitted, and then we will go from there.
Thank you.
Okay. This gets to be a real mess later, so 15. So we've got 15. Sorry to slow us down. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25, 27, 28, 29,
I'm
30.
sorry.
And you're objecting to 31, 32, 33.
Yes, Your Honor, we've discussed that issue.
And I believe the court reserved ruling on it. We can take it up in the morning if you want.
All right, so let's just go with what we've admitted. You may publish.
Okay, and I apologize. I will move also for the admission of 23. What I was looking at there
Oh.
is different than the actual 23. Any objection to 23?
No, you said you needed 23. You said 24 you didn't want to
I did.
publish.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
I'll move this. Let's do it that way. Okay, do you want to approach?
What's this, court's for? This is court's for. Court's for?
Ms. Popple, I'm going to show you what has been marked, and I think these are all stipulated too, so we've just moved these into evidence. I think we're just collectively moving them into evidence, and I can go through them now. Okay, State's Exhibit 15. Ms. Popple, do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that a photo of?
This is a close-up of the rounds that were in the holster that we were discussing.
Mr. Baldwin's holster.
Yes.
And I see, how many silver primers do you see there?
There are two.
And which one did you suspect was a live round?
The one that's closer to the center that has a cleaner look to it.
This one here?
Yes.
And the one that was on the left that has the silver primer, when you examined that, what happened?
When that one was examined, it was determined to be a dummy round.
Do you know who provided that dummy round to the set of Rust?
I do not.
Okay. Other than Mr. Baldwin's holster, were there other gun holsters that you collected?
Yes.
And were there other holsters that contained what you suspected to be live ammunition?
Yes.
How many others?
There was one other a gun belt that was located on top of the cart that had a suspected live round.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 16. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
Yes, this is a close-up of the gun belt that was taken from the top of the cart, and it is a close-up specifically of the rounds that were inside of it.
And was the suspected live round the one with the silver primer?
Yes.
We talked a little bit about that box of ammunition that you, the box of dummies that you took out of Lieutenant Benavidez's unit. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 17. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And can you point us to the suspected live round that you testified to inside that box?
Yes, it's the round on the far right with the silver and color primer.
This one right here.
Yes.
And I think you testified that there was some loose ammunition on the top of that prop cart. Is that right?
Yes.
And did you collect all that?
Yes, I did.
You took it back to the sheriff's department?
Yes.
Any of the ammunition that you collected from the top of the prop cart, did you suspect any of that to be live ammunition?
Yes.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 26, which I believe was previously in evidence. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And did you take that photo?
Yes, I did.
So what is this a photo of?
This is an overall photo of all of the loose ammunition that was collected from the top of the cart.
So these 6 items here at the top, what are those?
Those are all blank rounds. They have the crimped end.
So they're missing the projectile.
Yes.
Do they ignite? Do they make a sound? If you
Yes. Yes, they do.
know. Do they have gunpowder in them?
Yes.
What are they missing? Just the projectile?
Correct.
And these here on the left, these 2 rounds that look very much like each other, were you able to determine whether those were dummies or suspected live rounds?
Those were dummy rounds.
And the 2 rounds over here on the right, when you examined those, did you have any concerns?
Yes.
What were your concerns?
My concern was that they were live rounds.
And did you send those to the FBI?
Yes.
And then we see this round down here at the bottom, and I see a hole in the casing. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Is that what you were describing as a dummy round with a hole in the casing?
Yes.
So was that sent to the FBI?
It was not.
Okay. Now, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 27. Do you see that?
Yes.
And those rounds that we're looking at right there, are they also in the previous photo?
Yes, they are.
Let's go back to 26. Are they these right here?
Yes, they are.
So they had silver primers, is that right?
Correct.
And did you collect and photograph that spent casing?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 28. Is that the spent casing?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 29. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
This is the bottom of that same spent casing.
So when you talked about the primer being the area that the firing pin of the gun strikes, are you referring to this silver right here?
Yes, I am.
And do you know what that little dimple in the top is called?
That is made from the firing pin.
Okay, that's the mark that's left?
Yes.
All right. Now, when you ultimately conducted a search of the prop truck, did you collect additional ammunition?
Yes.
And was there any live ammunition found in the prop truck?
No.
Or any suspected live ammunition, rather? No?
No.
So what kind of ammunition did you take out of the prop truck?
We took blanks and dummy rounds.
Do you remember approximately how many?
I would approximate 1,000 to 1,500.
Did you closely examine each and every one of those?
Yes.
Hang on, here we go. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 19. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And where was that located?
This was located in a bag on the prop truck.
And when you say on the prop truck, because we weren't there, can you describe this truck?
I apologize. It is a storage truck, so almost like you would see a moving vehicle. It has that amount of storage in the back area of it.
And does it have a door that comes down?
Yes.
So you found this inside that prop truck in a bag, is that right?
Yes.
And did you go through the contents of this box?
Yes, I did.
And there were no dummy rounds? I'm sorry, there were no suspected live rounds.
There was one round that did not make a sound, so it was sent to the FBI as well. But
Okay. I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 30. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what is that, and how does it relate to the previous photo that we saw?
These are the rounds that were inside of that box, but they were taken out of the box and laid out to be photographed.
Is there anything unusual or noteworthy about these dummy rounds compared to the other dummy rounds that you found on set.
Yes.
What is that?
The dummy rounds found on set had this almost new shine to them. These rounds that were located have this antique look to them.
And do you mean that kind of brown color, that sort of antique color on the brass?
Yes.
And was one of these dummy rounds located in Mr. Baldwin's bandolier?
Yes.
Let's just jump back for a moment. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 23. Just for completeness, can you tell us what that is?
Yes, this is a close-up of the jacket and holster that were found on the bench inside of the church.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 25. Can you tell us what that is?
This is a projectile that was recovered from Joel Souza's shoulder.
And how did you get that?
I responded to the hospital and received it from Deputy Lujan.
And when you took it from Deputy Lujan, what was it in?
It was in a plastic cylinder container.
And what did you do with it?
I took it to the office and photographed it with scale.
And after you photographed it, this is your picture here, right?
Yes.
After you photographed it, did it get sent anywhere?
Yes, it got sent to the FBI lab.
State's Exhibit 20, can you just tell us what that is?
This is the exterior of the church.
State's Exhibit 21, can you tell us what that is?
This is the interior of the church.
State's Exhibit 24, did you take that photo?
Yes, I did.
When did you take that photo?
This was after the firearm was recovered from Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle.
Is this the condition the firearm was in when you recovered it from Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle?
Yes.
Is this the condition it was in when it was sent to the FBI?
Yes.
All right, bear with me. Let me catch up with you here. Did you participate in making the decision about which items of evidence were going to be analyzed at the FBI?
Yes.
And let's go through the items of evidence that were sent to the FBI for analysis. State's Exhibit 24, we understand it was sent, correct?
Yes.
And I think you testified previously that you sent it for DNA testing, is that right?
Yes.
And without talking about specifically that testing, did you get results back?
Yes.
Did you, I think you indicated that you sent it for functionality testing, is that right?
Yes.
And did you get the results of that?
Yes.
And then at some point, did you participate in a discussion or a decision to have additional testing done on this gun?
I believe I was part of that conversation, yes.
Okay. And so was additional testing of this gun requested at the FBI?
Yes.
And do you recall generally what that requested testing was?
I'm uncertain as to what they phrase it as, but I believe it was a drop test that was
Okay.
requested.
And what did you intend them to test for?
That the firearm, whether or not it would be able to go off without the trigger being pulled, I believe.
Okay. And did you send some of the boxes of ammunition to the FBI?
Yes.
Why?
We sent all of the suspected rounds, suspected live rounds, to determine if they were in fact live rounds. One additional round was sent that did not make a sound to determine whether or not it was a dummy round. And I believe that in the case of the box that was recovered from Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle, they wanted it in its entirety, so we sent them the entire box.
Okay. And when you're talking about the box, are you talking about the box that we saw earlier that said 45 long Colt dummies with a JS in the middle?
Yes.
And what kind of analysis did you want done on the box? Did it have anything to do with the box itself?
We wanted latent prints completed on the box itself.
Okay. And is it customary, if you can explain to us how this works, is it customary that the Sheriff's Department swabs items of evidence for DNA?
There are times where we will swab items for DNA. However, most labs, when we are requesting that they assist us, they want the items in their entirety. So they want to complete the swabbing themselves.
So with regard to State's Exhibit 24, which is a photograph of the firearm, with regard to that firearm, did you swab it for DNA?
No.
Why not?
Because we were sending it to the lab and that determination had already been made, we wanted to send it in its entirety to the lab.
So was it swabbed at the FBI?
Yes.
And in terms of, it sounded like you did another search. You did a search of a business in Albuquerque. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you know why the Sheriff's Department wanted to search that location?
It was my understanding that because the owner of that business had assisted in supplying dummy rounds to the set, that we wanted to ensure that we weren't finding any additional live rounds. And to determine that, we needed to search that warehouse as well.
And what was that person's name, the person who owned that business?
Seth Kenny.
And was Mr. Kenny there when you conducted the search?
Yes.
And did you find live ammunition inside that business?
Yes.
Visibly, in terms of the details of the ammunition, did it appear to be identical to the live ammunition that you collected from the set of Rust?
No.
What did you do with the live ammunition that you collected from PDQ, Mr. Kinney's business?
It was sent to the FBI.
Why? What were you asking them to do?
We were asking them to compare the gunpowder inside of the rounds found at PDQ to the gunpowder found inside the live rounds on set.
Why?
We wanted to determine if they originated from the same place.
And did you get the results back?
Yes.
And if you would, I see that you've got a box with you.
Yes, I do.
Can you pull that box out for us? May I approach?
Yes.
Let's have a look at what's in your box. Just the part? Can you give them to me? I'm going to show you what I am going to mark as State's Exhibit 34. Mr. Spyro, do you want to have a look?
I think because it's in the box, I don't have a.
Do you want to come up here and have a look?
Sure. For searches in this case.
No objection to 34.
Okay, I'm going to show you what I've marked as States Exhibit 34, and I would ask you to tell us what we're looking at here.
So this this is the live round that was taken from the box located in Lieutenant Benavidez's vehicle. It's been deconstructed by the FBI. Therefore, we have the casing, the projectile, and the gunpowder that was inside all separated.
And is the gunpowder in this container here?
Yes.
For all of the 5 live rounds, suspected live rounds that were sent to the FBI, were they all disassembled by the FBI?
Yes.
And were they all returned to you in this condition?
Yes.
Do they all look exactly the same?
Yes.
I'm going to move into evidence States Exhibit 35, 36, 37, and 38.
Your Honor, if I could just ask one clarifying, just to find out the date of that, just so I know, because I haven't examined this.
The date of what?
When she received them back, or the date around,
I think she-
approximately even is fine.
Do you know approximately when you received them back?
I do not. I have that back at the office, but I don't have it on me at the moment.
Can you give us an estimate? Was it a month? Was it a year?
I would estimate 6 months to a year.
That's fine, Your Honor, thank you.
Did you also say 39 or just end at 38?
I ended at 38, but there will be a 39. You said they all look the same, right?
Yes.
Is that true also of the powder in the little container?
Yes.
It all appears to be the same.
Correct.
And I'm showing you, sorry, I keep throwing them down, 35, 36, here's 37, here's 38. The live rounds that you sent to the FBI that you collected from PDQ, did those live rounds come back in kind of this same condition, disassembled?
Yes.
And-
Are you able to zoom out a little?
Oh. Here. Is the glare, would it be easier if I just handed it to you?
It's okay.
Well, can I approach and I'll hand you what's been marked as States Exhibit 38.
Yes. For the record, these have all been admitted and published.
Yes, they all returned in such a condition.
So the live rounds that you took from PDQ, did I ask you to bring those here today?
You did not.
Do you have them back at the Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
And when they were returned to you from the FBI, they were deconstructed like this, right?
Yes.
So you had a casing, a projectile, and a container of powder.
Yes.
Did the container that holds the gunpowder just visibly, did it appear the same or different than the live rounds that came from the set of Rust?
It was different.
And you could just see that with your eye.
Correct.
And I'm going to show you what has been, or what I will mark right now as States Exhibit 39, just for completeness. And what is that?
This is the spent casing that was located on top of the cart.
Okay. else that you did in this case, generally?
In general terms, I was also asked to collect DNA standards, fingerprint standards from various parties so that those could also be sent for comparison at the FBI.
And what parties did you collect DNA standards from?
I collected them from David Halls, Hannah Gutierrez, and I believe Lieutenant Benavidez as well.
Did you, I'm sorry, do you know whether or not a DNA standard from Mr. Baldwin was collected?
It was collected by another agency.
Okay. Bear with me. When you took the firearm out of Mr. Benavidez's patrol unit, did it appear to be damaged or modified in any way?
Not that I was able to see.
And let me go back to State's Exhibit 21. What are we looking at there?
This is the interior of the church after I've laid down evidence markers.
So just explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury so that they know what are evidence markers and where do we see them in this picture so they can make sense of what they're looking at.
Evidence markers are utilized so that when we go back and reference photos, we can easily determine where things were placed in a scene, or where things were when we went there. So in this photo specifically, any numbered areas were physical items of evidence or possible evidence that was collected by myself. Any areas that are marked with a letter were areas of suspected blood that were also swabbed and collected.
And just to be clear, the evidence that we've looked at that was photographed, all of these, is that all the evidence in the case?
No.
And the items of evidence that you brought in the box, that's not all the evidence in this case, right?
Right.
Do you still have all of the evidence?
Yes.
And where is it?
It is in the evidence vault at the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office.
So if anyone wants you to bring it in, you can do that. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I will pass the witness. Thank you, sir.
I think we're going to end for the day so that you all can get your exhibits together for Faith. Okay? Aiden. Sorry, I thought I looked and said different name. Okay, thank you. Jury, please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Don't be looking at anything about the trial, anything about the subject matter, either on TV, Googling, research, whatever, news accounts, what the caution I've told you, okay? At 8:30, according to Steve Bing, have a good evening. Thank you.
All rise with the jury.
All right, you may be seated. Is there anything we need to put on the record before we recess?
Just two quick things from the defense. First is, I just want to confirm who's testifying tomorrow.
I thought you all agreed to that with the order that I haven't seen.
It's in blue, Your Honor. I haven't seen it if you've been here.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought that's what was agreed to. Order of witnesses.
It absolutely was. I just wanted to confirm as we're running out, everybody's checking that nothing's changed.
Okay.
We'll confer you on that.
All right. Anything else?
If I could just beg the court's indulgence to just quickly look at Exhibit 6, which I wasn't able to see when they opened it, the firearm.
Exhibit sticks?
Six.
Firearm.
Oh, 6.
That's just all I was.
Where is it?
Yeah, that's okay.
Is it here?
not here, never mind.
No, Martine
Oh, he took it
took
back.
it to save it.
Never mind.
You can, I could ask Corporal War, if
It's okay.
Deputy
All right, it's okay.
Apodaca. I don't have my glasses on. Are you sure?
I was trying to catch it, but it's okay. I'll save
Okay.
some of it. Thank you.
All right.
I'm happy to call him up. I can get it.
Worked hard enough today, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Ms. Morrissey?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, have a good evening. Thank you.